Happy New Year and welcome to the Everyone Has a Story podcast. It's the new year. We're going to talk about confidence. Confidence comes in many, many factors, and the level of confidence comes in even more factors, I believe. But some of those factors include, the actual ability to perform, how you handle pressure, the environment of the whole situation that you are dealing with. It could be your opponent. But most important, I think it comes from your mindset. And that's really what we're going to talk about today is having, that confidence, but, the confidence is going to be directed towards succeeding. And that's why I'm really kind of, really makes this one special, especially to start the new year out with. But my story today has to do with me a long, long, long time ago, being in college. It's my sophomore year at college. I'm on a tennis scholarship. And somehow, some way, I must have just was in my genes to grow late in my life. So the summer between my freshman and sophomore year, I grew 6 inches. And some guys, would think that is really kind of cool that they finally go from being 5'6" to being 6 foot. But to me, on a tennis scholarship, I'm trying to play tennis at a high level. It wasn't the best thing to ever happen to me at that time. All of a sudden now I'm taller, I'm lankier. I had knees that jolted out that always was in the way of my ground strokes. And it was just really a terrible year on the tennis court. That season, I'm playing number one for our college. And I played 22 matches and I won one of them in singles. It was just a hard year on me just because I wasn't used to losing that many matches. But what was funny is that during that time in our league that we played, if you played singles, you also played doubles. All of a sudden, I found that because I had to change my game and had to hit more serve and volleys, I became quite good at doubles. And so that year, I win one match out of 22 in singles, but in doubles, I won 19 and only lost 3. And all of a sudden, I realized that maybe I won't ever be that strong singles player, but I found out that I had a knack at playing doubles. And so it was that switch of my mindset. I know it was to get me to understand that maybe I'm not going to be the king of the hill on the singles court, but I will be very, very competitive throughout my life in doubles. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, not doubles and playing tennis, but I'm sure Carolina would love to do that. We're going to talk about really succeeding, really having that confidence to succeed. So let me welcome my guest speaker, Caroline Paez. How are you?
Good.
And thank you.
Good, Rogers. Thank you so much for the invitation and to that funny story just to start.
Well, at the time, let me tell you, it was not funny. Anyway, Carolina, Happy New Year, and thank you for being here. Carolina is the director of Renew Yourself, wellness and activity coach, and she's a professor, but probably more than any of all of that, she's a stroke survivor. And, I've met a lot of individuals who have had strokes, and for whatever reason, it was almost like a death sentence to them. They just stopped being them. And when you talk to Carolina, I mean, there is so much joy in her heart. There is so much just beauty in how she sees things. And I'm thinking, wow, this is one person who had that unfortunate incident, but she has grown into really a beautiful blossom for the world. And that's what I want to share with today. So Carolina, why don't you give us a little bit more deeper knowledge of who Carolina really is?
Thank you, Roger, and thank you so much for the introduction. And that's how you just describe it. It was just a time to grow. But let me just describe me. I will describe myself as a woman passionate about healthy life, and I'm really amazed at the human being ability to reinvent ourselves in face of the different and difficult situations that we face daily. I was born in Bogota, and I was just like was trained as a physical therapist in Bogota, and then I just started researching about healthy lifestyles and all of these promotions about health, eating well, exercising, sleep, the 8 hours, recommended hours, and all of these healthy lifestyles suggested. But then in 2014, I had this accident and this stroke that was really hard for me. But at the same time, as Roger was just saying, it was an opportunity to live better and to have a different perspective about life. And that's why I then started looking for alternatives about mental health, and I get into the coaching. And that's why I get training about health coaching and coaching that we call here in Colombia and in Latin America that is more popular here, that is called coaching ontologic, that is talking about the well-being and the being of the people. It's not about companies and about success through coaching. Is about ourselves, our insights. And then I get my company. We have been working on my company, that the Renew Your Self Awareness Coaches, for 4 or 5 years now. I get that name because was that the fact that I got during this big adventure about coaching was a renovation about life. And that's how I connect with that word, and I want all the people that work for me and all the clients of the people I know to get that sense of renovations day by day. And I will say that I could talk a lot of myself, but I think that will be enough just to start.
That's all right. Well, thank you again for being here. And so let's go ahead and get started here. So as a coach, as a stroke survivor, what is your definition of confidence?
Well, confidence for me is just a feeling or a belief that one can have in or rely on someone or something. Is the feeling is a feeling something is is something that we can build with our relationships, and is something that comes from keeping our promises that we make to ourselves and others. Is more than a word that just achieve a goal. Is just how you can build that confidence in yourself with all the actions that you do, and that you do with yourself and with others. That's how I also think that confidence is built with others, with the humans. So that would be my big definition about confidence.
So how does it affect us when we want to succeed at something? How much does it affect us?
Well, it affects a lot. But I think that will not the only thing that comes into play in that situations. One is confidence, but also comes be between that perfectionism and teamwork. But I will say that confidence is something that starts to affect your self-esteem, and just to start seeing that you won't be able to keep doing things. So when you have a failure and you just cannot commit to what you were planning to do, then you can start building ideas in your mind that is going to start saying to you, you won't be able to do it. That will be the definition as to how this affects. But as I just mentioned to you, is not only that fact. Sometimes you can feel that failure, but you may not be that affected because maybe you are supported by people, or you are not that perfectionist that most of the people we think they are. That people would be very affected because of these kind of situations.
All right. So as we all know, it's now the first week of January, the new year. And I have to say that if I talk to 100 people 90 of them are telling me what their resolutions are. And sometimes they don't even stop at one resolution. They have 2 or 3 resolutions. So where does really confidence come in achieving those goals or those resolutions?
Well, it comes to things you have first, not only the ability, but also that is something that you really want to achieve. That would be first, that you really want to commit to that, something that comes from your heart and from your mind, and not only for the external motivations. That will be one. Other factors that come into play with that will be you have all the resources to achieve that. And because sometimes I don't know, I want to go to the moon, but for sure we won't have that resources to achieve that. Other things that is really important is because we try to commit to a goal, but it's not achievable, it's not timeline. We don't have a time specific to start doing commit that step by step. So very important to have something that is really important to you. Second, that is timeline. So if you want to start exercising, when do you want to start exercising? Next week, next month, at the end of the year? Because most of the time starts doing, I'm going to start now. January is just the idea to start exercising. But then you start going to exercise at the end of January or beginning of February, you just quit the exercise because was something maybe not coming from your heart that you really wanted to do, was something just in like with the something that I call the circle, the bicycle cycle that other people do it, so I just need to do it. And this kind of pressures that we put in ourselves is going to damage our confidence, because if we do not achieve it, we say we won't be able to do another things. But it's not only because we are not available, we are not able, it's just because we don't have all these ideas, all these important factors that come into play to achieve a goal.
So let's talk about results, because anytime that we talk about resolutions and goals, really all people really care about are the results. And, I hear so many different stats, but most of the stats tell me that, 90% of the people who do actually set a goal, set a resolution, they never achieve it. But what's really even sadder is that less than half the population even sets a goal. So is that really due to not having the confidence that they know that they're going to succeed, and they just fall back into their routine of, well, they're doing it, so I'll do it. If they fail, I fail. No one really cares. Misery loves company. How does that work?
I don't think, and I don't believe that is because of our confidence. Not only confidence. I think it is for all of these factors that I just mentioned. So I would like all the people to think about something that we call the SMART goals. And if the people is hearing to us, try to identify a goal that they just have in their mind and make it specific. For example, as I mentioned, the idea of exercising. Exercising is specific, is just one goal. But maybe in other situations, they said, I want to earn more money, or I want to start as an just to have a business, but it's not specific. For example, it's a business about what business about what in that area. So just try to be that specific as possible and detailed. What do you want to do? Then trying to be something that is achievable, is something that you really want to achieve. For example, if I want to exercise, it's able for me to go into the gym, but I want to go to the moon. I had to do a lot of things to do that. So won't be that achievable. So try to make specific, then achievable. Then try to measurable. You have to measure the progress of that object or that goal that you are just deciding to do. So you want to exercise, you are measured that maybe how many days of the week are you going to go to the gym? Mm-hmm. And if I want to earn money, how much money do you want to have? Then when you think that is measurable, is just to try to measure that step by step and just to identify all that successes that you have. And that's going to start building your confidence. That's why it's important. That's why it is important to have that measure. Then you want to meet that specific, smart, realistic. Realistic is something that you have the ability to achieve that, and a timeline. And it's a time that you want to achieve. So just make the people is not only a fact that I'm going to do something. Just have to go step by step and try and think about that SMART goal to start building your confidence and yeah. Maybe more compassionate about yourself when you are going to commit to your goals.
Where does having an accountability partner come into play, and how does it help, elevate the level of success to succeed?
When you talk about accountability, you are talking about maybe responsibility that you have with yourself and with others. And I think that is very important to have that support and that accountability on other people. But in my experience that we have also with my clients, is not sustainable. Because not all the time you are going to have someone like they're supporting you. So it's something that when we think about building a goal, when you are building a teamwork and a team goal, you need to have that support with the people. But when you are designing a specific goal for yourself, you have to start building that accountability in yourself, having that support of others, but you cannot depend on others to start building that goal and that resolutions that you want to achieve. It's nice to have it, but as I just mentioned, in the spring, is not sustainable because we don't have sometimes that support.
I know, going back to my story about tennis that I mentioned earlier, I had an opponent that I grew up playing against that we never got along. I mean, we were fierce competitors. I mean, really just fighting tooth and nail on the court every time we had to play each other. Sometimes getting to, yelling at each other and, saying terrible words back and forth to each other. And this one particular summer, there was a big tennis tournament that came up. My typical partner, wasn't available, and somehow neither was his. And so we were told this. We got together, we played a couple practice matches, and we just stunk. I don't think we could just get out of our own way because we really had so much animosity towards each other. And then we got to the tournament, and because we never played together, we're not a favored team. Even though we were both good singles players at the time, we were not a favored team. And we were getting beat pretty bad by a team that we probably shouldn't be getting beat by. And he tried a shot that he's never, ever hit in his whole life, and he hit it. And all of a sudden he looked at me and he goes, "Oh my God, did you see that? I hit the most beautiful topspin lob. I've never been able to hit this topspin lob." And all of a sudden he was caught up in that moment. And all of a sudden he turned into almost like a 6-year-old at Christmas. He was just so excited. I mean, he just couldn't wait to hit another shot. And all of a sudden that motivation, that inspiration, that excitement, that joy resonated to me. And before you know it, we started playing really good doubles together. We won that match. We came back and we won that match. We won that tournament. No one expected us to win that tournament because really we, on the court singles, we hated each other. It appeared, and before you know it, we're now, we're winning tournaments or getting to the finals of tournaments that probably we should we should not have been there. But all of a sudden, we started clicking. So now you started talking about organizations. I do know as a business owner that when your team is clicking together and they're confident with each other, the chances of succeeding whatever goal we have is going to be so much greater. What are your thoughts on really what makes a good team at an organization to have that confidence to succeed?
Thank you, Roger, for that question. Is really, really important. But going to your idea, that's what you do with a team. You start building that confidence. Is not in a match that you are having with him. It's to different situations that you have to face to the other. Is not comfortable. Is not fun all the time, and you had to face difficult situations on that game. But with the time, you start building that relationship with your team. And I will say that's the idea that you have with the people in a company. You not only have to have this idea about confidence, it's also about the trust that you had in others. Is having other factors that we just mentioned. Is about the sincere that you have with others, the communication part that you are building with it. Just trying to trust that they have that ability to have that specific goals. We also as a team, as in a company, we have a big objective. I'm just forgetting the word. A goal, need, is something that you want to achieve with your company, and you have to allow all the people to act and just to shine and just to show up. Maybe the director of a company, they don't have that trust in others. As a companies, we think that we know everything. We think that we are the people that have the right things, and we do not recognize the ability that the people that are really working up and that are building up that company. It's not only about the director and the CEO. It's about all the people that are working for him. So the company is not about the success. That's why the company said that they want to achieve more. If they want to achieve more, they have to start building the resources, the human resources that they have in the company. That's how resources and researchers. I'm sorry. The research are saying that when we start about working about the communication part and just trying to observe others, just to recognize the work that they are doing, just make them aware, saying what is working, what is not only about the CEO, what is he or she seeing, but are all the people that are really putting their hands in the company. That has been really important, and that's how they start building the relationships and just building that confidence. When you start building the company, confidence is also they are starting to be feeling as part of the company. Many people start working and they don't think that the company is for them as well. They just go to work and then go back to home, and they just have that feeling of, I just go to work, have my money back, and that will be okay. So when companies start to commit them as something that is really important to the company, just start to building that confidence, they are having that success. That's how researchers are showing that, because sometimes we in our mind is difficult for the CEO. It's difficult to understand why should I hear to the people? I think that I'm the one that know. It's a really difficult main shift that is trying to show them that the success is doing with the human relationship that you build in that company.
We all watch sports on TV. We go to games. We hear success stories in the corporate world, and a lot of times they mention the addition of one individual who just what I call has that it factor. They join the team, and all of a sudden the team just starts to gel. They just start to really get to be more of a team as opposed to just a group of individuals. What is it that those individuals have? What is that it factor that really makes them special? Because it's you hear their teammates say it's contagious. They come in now, they have this aura about them. They're confident. They just know they're going to win no matter what, and it becomes really contagious to the team. What is that they're talking about?
Yeah, and I think that some idea come in my mind, and I think that most of the people, I don't know if they heard about the World Cup, the football game that we had last year in December, that Argentina just won, and Messi, that is the game player, is something that is a person that I think have that ability that you are just showing and just talking about. So he's a people that is encouraging all the players that he had in the team. He's a person that don't wants to show him up. He wants all the people to win as a team. And also he work, as just mentioned to you before, just giving give to the different players their specific space to shine and to gain. Yeah, I would say that's a good example for us to see how things work, because there are different games and different great players, but not all the times our teams really achieve and get to win.
So I want you to put your coaching hat on for a second, because I have a big favor of you. I am a big Denver Bronco fan, and we've been struggling over the last 6-7 years. And we finally got our quarterback. The guy was playing 10 years for Seattle. He just seemed to win every game. I think for a while there, he was the most winningest quarterback in that period of time that he was playing. Everything was going good. When you see him on the sidelines, I mean, he's cheering his fellow players on. I mean, he's just doing everything right. They're winning, and he gets traded to my Denver Broncos. We're having probably the worst year ever, and everybody on the sidelines is blaming Russell Wilson. So if you were here to coach Russell Wilson right now, to get that swagger back, to get that confident to succeed mentality back, what would you say to him? And please do it in a hurry, because I want to win the last couple games of the season.
Sure. I think that the most important thing will be just to live the present. I know in the game is really hard to think, because it's something really hard and really fast. But I also think that even if we have minutes, hours, and seconds, that would be that specific, that just keep the game in the second that you are just building and you are playing, and just try to visualize, to have in coaching we do that, the vision that you really want to achieve, that is that is very, very specific, just to try to focus that big vision that you want. I want to achieve, and I want to win, and and then try to separate that with the second and step by step that you want to achieve to that game.
So I like that visualization because, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, his Seattle Seahawks beat my Broncos in the Super Bowl. And so we should probably have him visualize how he really destroyed my Broncos, right? So that should be something he'd visualize, not just the game, but really moments of success, correct?
Yeah.
And what's the difference between the two? Just visualizing what you want to do versus visualizing what you did very successfully. Why is there a fine line there?
Well, if we are talking about the game, so we just want to feel the moment. We cannot go thinking about a previous successful. You have to focus on that specific game and that vision that you want to have in that specific time. And the difference is that because you are, if we go that in an outside specific I don't know, a specific area of life, is because maybe you are just going to the future and you are not living the moment and you are not going step by step. If you want to achieve something that is really, as I just mentioned before, maybe not realistic, not specific, then it's hard to start building that step by step and enjoying the process, because most of the people are going to the future but not living the moment and living the step by step. They are just maybe feeling the failure that you are not achieving that, but it's not that because you are not, it's not that you are not achieving, it's just because it's not specific time, it's not the time, it's not specific to that moment that you are living. We then start thinking about anxiety and depression and all of these things because you are just moving in the future and you are not living the moment that you are having in that specific time.
And I think that's probably the most important thing that you've said, or one of the key most important things you've said in this podcast, is that I know a lot of individuals who now have become consultants and coaches, go back to Russell Wilson quarterbacking my Denver Broncos. Sometimes we get caught up in our past and all those successes in our past, where the moments now are not the same as when they're all the same, environment, the same, dynamics are not the same back then that they are right now. And so just because Russell Wilson was very, very successful back 5, 6, 7 years ago, doesn't mean it's the same playing field right now. And so many times I know as a fan, I just automatically assume we're going to start winning because that's what he's always done. And it is possible that that maybe everybody around him, even himself, have put him so much into the success of his past that he's not able to really be 100% focused in the present right now. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and yeah, I just let me give you an example, or maybe just to run this up. And I think that if you have all these past experiences as success, you start building that confidence in yourself. So when you go to the present, you have that confidence that you just build with all the past. But then with that confidence that you have in your head, in your mind, and in all the structure that you had in your body, you will be able to move to the future. So you don't need that past because you just have that. And yeah, you have in your mind that confidence and all that idea. But when what you just mentioned, when you are moving to the future, we don't know what is going on. So the people is about uncertainty in life. We don't have something to control. We don't have something really with certainty when we just go through a pandemic. And that's a really specific example about how life is coming with uncertainty.
Yeah. Well, that's a a new perspective that I know a lot of people out there probably need to hear. And I know I need to be reminded of it all the time. So, Carolina, I can't thank you enough for that message and being my guest speaker today. So before we leave, can you give us one last little bit of inspiration to really start 2023 off in a very, very, very positive way, but a very more confident way for us to succeed? And I want you specifically talking to Russell Wilson over this, because I want him to hear this so my Broncos come out next year with a winning attitude.
Yeah, well, I think that is something that is very important for the people that is hearing to us, is that if they want, or we want to have a better and different outlook to our future, the thing that we can start doing is just to start looking at things differently. And when I think about it, it's not only when we see things different, our better future begins. It amplifies our perspectives. We get more possibility for actions, and we also start looking at ourselves. That will be something that is really important that I just mentioned at the beginning, because the only people that we really know ourselves is ourselves. Not other people is going to tell us what to do. We are used to that. As a kid, the people, our parents saying, just eat that, not eat that. Just go to college, then you go to university, then you work. And then when you start working, you don't have your parents and you have the other people saying what to do. And that's why I think it's really hard for us, because we are not learned from the beginning, from the kids, just to have decisions and to take decisions in ourselves, for ourselves. And I think that would be a good idea, that I would like the people to start thinking about that.
Well, great advice, great inspiration. Thank you very much. And if someone wants to reach out and get in contact with you for coaching or whatever, how can they get in touch with you?
Sure, that would be my pleasure to get a lot of people to know about my work. So they would contact me by email. And with my company, I have my email and my website, that is Renew Yourself, the Wellness Coaches, and about my social network, Instagram and Facebook. So maybe we could give the contact for them to contact me for future.
Okay. Well, everybody, it's a new year. I recommend everybody at least giving Carolina a chance to help you move forward in 2023 to the level that you want. So, Carolina, thank you. And hopefully we'll do plenty more podcasts together.
Sure, that would be my pleasure, Roger. And thank you so much for this time.
My podcast wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for my sponsors and my great supporters. So let me take this opportunity to thank each and every one of them. First of all, I want to thank Rebecca at Custom Bookkeeping and Accounting, delivering trustworthy bookkeeping services since 2003. Dave and Dara at Virtues Matter, making this world a much happier place to be with their Virtues Card apps, coaching, and workshops. Stephen at Buller Accounting, giving business owners depth and insight to their numbers. Eric and his team at Ivy Cat Web Design, the real superheroes of web development and design. Jennifer and Jean at the Seavers Real Estate Team, serving Pierce and Kitsap counties with their home buying and selling needs. Maury at the Maury Method, the world's only brainwave entrainment engineer, helping everyone have more clarity, less stress, and overall better brain health. Priya at Pivot My Profit, helping individuals and businesses have better control of their finances and more money at the end of their day. Melissa at the Soul Vibe Energy High, the queen of the aha moments, helping individuals find those holes in their cups, repair the hole, and gain back their positive energy. And finally, Rick at West Sound Recording. You talk, they do all the rest. Thank you, Rick, for all your efforts with the production and editing of my podcast.